I grew up on country music, so I should have just done that to begin with. But I think where I was in life, I was really just passionate about pop music. And now what's amazing is I'm just taking those two worlds and jamming them together and making these song babies that people hopefully feel things from.
The Fred Minnick Show is brought to you by Michter's and 291 Colorado Whiskey.
And joining the Fred Minnick Show, our third female Canadian country music singer, and that's Parker Graye, a rising star who just had her very first single come out late last year. How are you doing, Parker?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. How are you?
Well, it is a privilege to have you on. I reached out to some friends that said, I want to find a rising star in a female vocalist that is just someone that you believe in, that and has just got something out and is a firecracker. And and I had two people come back to me as, oh man, you got to meet Parker. You got to meet her. So, I mean, the word is out on the street about you. So how are you?
I'm so good. Honestly, like, it's a sunny day here in Vancouver, BC, which is kind of unusual. So I'm extra good. The vitamin D is high today. We are on one.
And you are a CrossFit like champion or worker outer, right? Like what do I call? I don't know what to call you. Like, what do you call CrossFit people? Like
call them. I guess we call them athletes. Like, we're all CrossFit athletes. Okay. But I've been coaching for about 7 years, and I've been doing it for about 8 or 9. So I've been in the community here in Vancouver for forever, and it's such an integral part of like my life and my mental health and community and friends, and yeah, I love it so much.
all the CrossFit people I know are badasses, so they're like, yeah, I'm pushing a big giant tractor tire over here, and
yeah, I got like 11 plates on the bar.
Yeah, I've been working out, bro. So actually, they're all very good people, and they
are. Generally speaking.
And I was in the military, and all the workout stuff that you all do really reminds me of just like a day of hell in the military. So.
Well, because that's what it started as, like Navy SEAL training. And then they're like, can this be adapted to be more for like general population and regular health? And that's kind of how it evolved, which is pretty fascinating and makes sense. I mean, not all the workouts are like, it's so funny because people will be like, I need to get fit to go to CrossFit. And I'm like, no, you don't. Like 90% of the clients in the gym are like moms and dads that are like, I just want to be able to play baseball with my kids. Like, none of like the general population isn't walking around with a 37 pack and like flexing on them all the time. Like,
wait. Well, hold on. What's a 37 pack? I'm not even. I know about the 8 pack and the 12 pack and the 6 pack, but what the hell's a 37 pack?
Well, it's.
Is that in here? Is it like the ab area?
Yeah, it's like here, and then the like chiseled quad knee. Like they've got all like their faces chiseled.
All right, now I'm feeling all insecure because I mean I have a 1 pack, and it's okay. It's more like a spare tire. But listen, got it. I also drink for a living, so I mean I feel like I should get some slack here. On
you do. Sort of no one's coming down on you, and don't let people come down on you for that.
All right, I'll tell my doctor I'll tell my doctor next time. Parker says don't come down on me. That's mean.
No, okay. Also, don't put that on me.
And you're also in PR. Tell us about what you do in PR.
Yeah, so until I don't have to anymore, I do public relations to make little silver coins, mostly in the plant-based health and wellness nutrition space. I've been in the industry for about 8 years. And I just kind of, I love people and I love building relationships and I love building connections. And I've been so fortunate to work with some incredible athletes and influencers and celebrities. And it's really helped me also in like the country music space connecting. And I was pretty dedicated at my last occupation where I was trying to seed as much product to musicians as possible so that when they're on tour, they're not eating complete garbage. So that was a big mission for me and for my fellow musicians. And yeah, it's super cool. I just like, I love people and I love connecting and connecting the dots for people. And it's PR is just so, I don't know, I just get energy out of it, which is sweet. And it transfers well to doing music.
Right on. Well, as a longtime journalist, which I don't know really, I'm not really a journalist anymore, but you know, there was a time I was a pretty hardcore journalist in like, I'm more of doing more like personality things. And this is, this by no means is a journalistic show. This is me having fun with people and sipping good stuff and learning about them. This is more of a kind of interaction, because I too, like, I love people, and this is kind of like my experience with people. But, once upon a time, I was a real, like, investigative kind of journalist, and, PR people and journalists, butt heads sometimes, it happens. It happens from time to time.
I find journalism way more high stakes. Like, I feel like you have so much more pressure in journalism. And especially I don't know how you do what you do, interviewing people. And I know for you, it's probably just like general conversation, but like when I'm watching interviews, I'm always fascinated by people's ability to listen so fast and like pick up on little things and then divulge another question or go down a different lane. Like that is such an art to me, and I have no idea how people do it.
Well, mostly I put bourbon in people's bellies and they just open up. So it's like
same.
Things happen. Things happen. You're putting plant-based burritos in folks and they're getting happy, and then I follow up with the bourbon. Also plant-based, by the way. Bourbon is technically vegan.
It is.
I think. I mean, there's no cow. There's no. What's in it. Like, wait. So I know there's certain levels of veganism that, like, if animal fertilizer is used in the development of a crop, then it's not technically vegan. Is that right?
Yeah, there's different certifications, and based off of like, it's the same thing with like gluten-free and people that are like non-GMO, like it all has their like threads of certain things that classify it to be vegan. I mean, like, I'm not vegan by any means, and I've worked in that industry for so long, and I think that there's like pros and cons to everything, and not everything that's vegan is healthy.
Yeah. My wife's in medicine, and she's always pointing out like how too much soy will really throw off hormonal balances, and like soy is like a base in a lot of vegan ways. But listen, fry me up some tofu, and you'll never see me happier.
Crispy tofu gets me going, and then throw some chipotle mayo with that. Oh,
I mean, just hearing you talked about that, like it's going straight to my hips. Like I can feel the fattiness just developing around my one of my 37 things. Yep.
See, that's how I feel about cupcakes, though. Like, I'm a sucker for sweets. Like, I love treats. Like, love treats. Like, I was listening to your episode with Lindsay L, and you were talking about, you're like, do you like pie crust? And then you're talking about, like, do you like it with the crust on top or like just open like a pumpkin pie? And I was like, I kid you not, I was leaving the grocery store when I was listening to this, and I turned around and went and bought pie because you got it so in my head. I was like, okay, well now I need pie.
Oh, like, I'm just
a sucker for treats.
Well, I love that, and I love that you talked about Lindsay. Lindsay is a dear friend. She was the first guest on the show, and I have to say that she is a leader in Canadian country music too. Like you gotta look at her like be so proud of her.
I adore her. Like her last record blew my friggin' mind. And like, she's just so talented. She's so talented. It's insane. And it's so cool to see someone like her from Canada doing so well in both Canada and the US. Like she's just unreal. Love her.
Of course, my guest today is Parker Graye. She's got 2 singles out, Do Over and Before You Leave. Now we've got some things to drink here, but I was wanting to get your feels on both songs. Like these are your first, so these are like your first babies, and you know you're getting introduced to people right now, and I saw you're really breaking big time on Spotify in Canada, and people are starting to download you in the United States. So tell us all about your 2 singles that are in all kinds of people's earballs right now.
Yeah, so I actually started in the pop world. And in that time, I met a guy named John Strandell who actually produced both of those singles. And he encouraged me to write. And this was in 2017. This was back when like Skype writing wasn't really as prevalent as it is now. And I'd been doing these things on Instagram where like I was awful at committing to lyrics. And so I would post these lyrics on my Instagram stories and set a timer to kind of like get myself to work faster. And in that time I'd post it and then I'd see how people would respond. So if someone was like, oh my God, that kills my heart, I'd like save it into a file and be like, sweet, that hurt someone, that made them feel something. Let's go back to that. And then John Strandell messaged me and was like, hey, we should co-write sometime. And we did a Skype write in like November of 2017. And he was like, what was that thing about do-over? And I was going through such a shitty relationship. Sorry for my French. I probably shouldn't swear. So awful.
So, all right. So so let me paint the scene here, everybody. Country music influence being, the origins from a shitty relationship. That's breaking news.
I know, right? It's earth-shattering content. It's like I am truly a trailblazer.
It's amazing. It's amazing though, like how like it actually does not matter the genre. It can be rock.
Totally.
It can be anything. But you come out of like I remember when I was dumped at 19. I mean, it was just like the pit of the world was like sagging below me.
This is it. And I'm such an emotional creature that I like to put things on social media because I think it makes me like process it better. Mm-hmm. And so I did that. And the concept was do-over. And John was like, can we do something with that thing? And at the time it was like the relationship could have been so unreal. And I saw all this potential, which is generally a red flag, I guess, apparently people say. And I just wanted a do-over. And it's like the way I explained it to John was like, it's like when you're a kid and you're playing hide and seek and somebody finds you too fast and you're like, do-over, I want a do-over.
Yeah.
And I wanted that childlike concept to apply to like an adult scenario. And that was do-over. And we wrote it very specifically to what I was going through at that time. And it evolved. And then Before You Leave came, which I ended up writing 6 months before the breakup, so they're kind of a saga, and there's another song coming, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. And they're all about the same guy and this like wild relationship that was just filled and littered with like deceit and dishonesty. And all I wanted was that relationship to work so bad. I remember like just going through it and being like, it's going to work out. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. He just needs time. It just needs to be this. And it ended not great. But I have these songs and it has kind of like Do-Over was the catalyst to me really diving into what I love most, which is storytelling and songwriting. And I grew up on country music. So I should have just done that to begin with. But I think where I was in life, I was really just passionate about pop music. And now what's amazing is I'm just taking those two worlds and jamming them together and making these song babies that people hopefully feel things from.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've listened to both of them repeatedly, so I'm good for at least like 2 hours of streaming for you here in Kentucky. So I mean, everybody needs to like just press pause on this podcast right now and go listen to them. So let's do this. Let's get her numbers up in the States, because all of that matters for like an artist that is, are you signed? You're not signed yet, right?
No, not signed.
So as an unsigned artist, unsigned artists need people downloading, listening, sharing. So I encourage everybody listening to this right now, wherever you are, just stop what you're doing and go check out Parker Graye. That will help get the downloads going. And now I think it's time to sip some bourbon. Now, you being in Canada makes things very, very difficult for me to get you bourbon. Your country hates every law in the world that makes perfectly good sense for shipping alcohol. So, full disclosure, everybody, Parker is my first guest that had to go and buy her own alcohol. So,
okay.
So I'm sorry.
Well, no, you know what? First off, I want to thank you for giving me that incredible shout out, because to your point, it's a numbers game and I do everything myself, all my own PR, all my own social, everything. And I think sometimes we forget that streaming and comments and likes and sharing is a currency. Mm-hmm. And for us as indies, it's insane how much value that brings. So thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And again, everybody go check it out. And that won't be the last time I mention it here on the Fred Minnick Show. Brought to you by, we don't have a fill-in sponsor there, but if you'd like to become a sponsor for that fill-in there.
By Canadian.
By Canada, where our alcohol laws suck. And you can better believe we will tax your ass on it. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
okay.
It's true.
They love their taxes in Canada. So we are going. So what I said, what you bought, you sent me a link to a liquor store. All right, here's some stuff that we have. And admittedly, they had some really nice things in there, but I mean, they were really expensive, and I didn't want to break.
What's wild is that's like one of our better liquor stores, because we're government owned, generally speaking. So we have the BCL, and I was like, well, at least I can give him one place that might actually have something that he wants.
Right. Well, they had a great selection.
But
when I saw, I don't remember what it was, but there was something there was like for $250, and in US dollars, I was like, fuck that.
Yeah.
So we're drinking Maker's Mark, Bulleit.
Oh, let's go, baby.
And then we're going to go ahead and take a ride on down to Jamaica and have some Appleton.
Why is yours different than mine?
Ooh, show me yours. All right, put it up closer there. So
this is all they had.
Okay, so I think it's, I think that's a blend.
It's
Does it say blend on there? It looks like specialized.
Signature single estate Jamaican rum.
So it's not a blend. But
oh,
you know
no,
what?
Yes. Our signature blend.
Okay, yeah. So then it's just different labeling for Canada. Then.
Yeah, we have all the different things that you can't say.
There we go. So we just have different packaging. Same
Isn't
stuff.
the Canadian version.
But you know what? I do love me some Canada. Now I almost got detained in Canada. So that's a true story. I got detained there when I was on my way to like a whiskey show, and I don't know why, but I always assumed it was because of my military background and my record, and because I was connected to the alcohol industry. So
that's bananas.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I got pulled aside at the airport because I had a food scale in my luggage, but that was because I was weighing my food before a competition, and they really thought I was smuggling. I wasn't.
Well, I mean,
fact.
the fact that the guy behind you got busted for 20 pounds of marijuana, just inconsequential. That was the thing, though. So let's go ahead and start with the Maker's Mark. So Maker's Mark is a tried and true Kentucky bourbon. Give you a little history behind this one. The brand, the name, and the red dripping wax, and the kind of like hand-torn label, created by the co-founder Marjorie Samuels, and she is now in the Bourbon Hall of Fame for her contributions. But when this bottle came out, it was like there was not a lot of wax used in whiskey. It was more prevalent in cognac, and no one used red really. Yeah. Red was kind of like a staple in places like Armagnac and Calvados, but no one in bourbon used red wax, and so they used a red dripping wax, and that became their trademark. And so, like, if you use that, if you start any kind of alcohol brand today and use a red dripping wax, they will sue you.
As trademark.
You. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. Does the wax actually have any, like, obviously, I'm gonna guess no, but like, is there any like legitimacy to like, if you were to have bottled something yourself and then you waxed the top, does it keep it any better? Like, is this like an old thing that was done historically? Like, why the red wax?
Yeah. Wax was like a sealant, So if you had like a wax seal around something, I mean, it would hold. That was their best method of getting things to hold. They would put a cork on it and then put a seal on it. But bourbon just didn't really use that. They used more foils. They used like stamps around them, but the cork, or they would have a cork or like a screw cap, So it was something that wax has been used in alcohol beverages for a very long time.
Right. And then this is again for my silly lack of knowledge. Do they hand dip every single one of these?
Every single bottle is hand dipped. A human does it. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's so artisan.
Yeah, it really is, and the bourbon too is like, it's available almost everywhere, but they get all their grains locally. They have a local water source. What Maker's Mark does really is amazing, because it is a
they're really like self-sufficient. That's fantastic.
Yeah, they are. They're self-sufficient, and they're in the middle of nowhere in Loretta, Kentucky, and it's it's a place that's near and dear to my heart. One of my mentors, Bill Samuels Jr.'s, is the son of the founders, and he's meant a lot to me personally. And also, I just realized this. I don't know how this bottle came up in my rotation. I actually will be sipping on a very historic bottle. I'm sipping on the 84 proof one. If you take a look at yours, take a look at your bottle. Take a look and see what it says, the alcohol percentage ABV.
Mine's a cute 45.
45. So mine is 42%. For 8 days in 2013, they made 42% alcohol by volume, or 84 proof bourbon. It was what they called the Great Deproofing, but they were in such demand, they were trying to decrease the proof to extend, to get more bottles out. Yeah. But there was such a backlash against that. There was people came out and said, "How dare you change our whiskey? What?" They were mad. And they were going, this was like one of the very first things on social media where people like lost their shit. And it was just kind of a case in point of like, this brand and bourbon to an extent kind of it got into the Americana and got into the culture and the mindset of people. It was like new Coke in some ways. And they switched it back. So to Maker's credit, they switched it back, and we still don't know the full story behind it. It's kind of a sore subject sometimes that, They don't ever really want to talk about it. So whenever I bring it up, they're like, "Oh yeah, so we switched it back. But hey, how about the Dallas Cowboys? What's their record now? They're 4-12. I mean, it's kind of funny. But
is there like deep Reddit forums about people's like theories around the why?
Yeah. There are deep theories around it. There's a lot of people who think it's like a marketing ploy. But that's where people go with it. Usually, as it was marketing centric. I really don't think so. I think it was legit, and I think that they just listened to their customer base and switched it back. And
Right.
they're just like, we want to move on from that and kind of go on. Let's just move on.
Yeah, they're like, let's just keep it moving.
Let's get back to making bourbon and stop talking about 2013. So now I want to take you through my process of how I taste bourbon. First of all,
I'm so ready. Buckle up.
First of all, I'm having so much fun right now hanging out with you.
I am too.
The first thing that we want to do is we want to analyze the color. So when bourbon goes into the barrel, it is as clear as the water from your tap. And when it's in that barrel, it's moving in and out of that wood every single day. So all the color in bourbon is coming from the barrel. Other types of whiskey, they can add coloring to it. In bourbon, they're not allowed to add any coloring or any flavoring. So all that flavor comes from the grains, the yeast, the fermentation, the distillation, and the barrel. And to a degree, the water. So they after it comes out of the barrel, they can add water to it or cut it down to a certain proof. And so that will have an impact on it as well. So to me, the color is the look of like a painting, if you will. It is a representation of the whiskey's time in the barrel, and I just love looking at it. Now,
I never knew that.
Oh yeah.
That I'm learning so many things already, and I love whiskey. Okay, so wait a minute. Yours is a bit darker, right?
Well, I think mine is because the lighting. I can tell you got a lot of light behind you. I got a lot of light in front of me. So,
right. Got it. Okay.
And so from there, we kind of swirled around a little bit, just kind of bring it to the nose. And when we bring it to our nose, we want to bring it all around and smell with our mouths open. By smelling with our mouths open, we can pick up more than just the alcohol fumes.
Oh, whoa. I'm so excited. I love learning. So this is like extra fun for me. I'm like a child. It's great.
Awesome. By the way, you are over 21, right? Since you brought up the whole you're a child thing, you got to make sure this is legal on the up and up.
Yes, I'm significantly over. We're good. Oh God, that's funny.
Okay, so now that we smelled a little bit, now we want to put it on our palate. So you don't want to kick it back. It's not like a fraternity party. You're not here to get hammered. You just want to put a little bit on your tongue and kind of feel it go all around and see how it feels on the way down. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh my, that's quite, this is a standard Makers. Well, mine's not, but this is a standard Makers, and it's quite lovely.
So what are the like, I mean, maybe we get into this as we go through these, but like, what is one of the signature things about Makers in terms of like its taste or its texture or anything like that?
So we look at like Makers as a category in bourbon that we call weeded bourbon. So Makers is to be bourbon, it must be made from predominantly corn, at least 51% corn. And then from there, they can add other types of grains. Maker's Mark adds wheat, so they add wheat as their secondary grain. And so they're kind of in this like little slot of being a weeded bourbon. And so that's kind of what they're known for. And they don't make any other styles. Now, right. the other one here, Bulleit, this is a high rye bourbon.
This is my this might be an unpopular I don't know, people are going to be like, oh, she thinks she's so hard. But if I go on a date, and they order like a beer, I get a double Bulleit on the rocks.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
That's my move.
So I will tell you this. That's one of the reasons why I fell in love with my wife, is because she used to order, she'd order Makers with a rock. And here's another thing about the packaging. Look at that. I got a cork. You got a screw cap.
Yeah, I think my other bottle has a cork.
Okay. They're doing Canada all wrong up there.
Oh, we don't have any fun up here.
Well, you have plenty of fun. You get to play. You get to like go to hockey games and play in the snow and like, you know.
That's true. We get to play in the snow.
You get to ice fish. I mean, ice fishing looks to be like the coolest thing ever for me.
My dad. I actually FaceTimed my dad yesterday, and he was out ice fishing, and he's like, "Oh, I caught this weird fish," and then continued to send pictures of this really weird fish that is apparently like closer to a minnow. Nobody gives a shit about it anymore. And I was like, "This is Canada." My dad's just sitting in a thing, and I was telling him about us chatting today, and he was like, "Well, then I guess I need to go buy some whiskey." I was like, "Yeah, you should."
I mean, it's in celebration here. We could have had him on. He'd like taste along with us from the ice hut.
Imagine coming in live.
And look everybody, the special Canadian minnow.
Yeah, the fish did look pretty sketchy looking. It looked like it had this like weird kind of camo-y pattern on it. Never seen it before. Not fun. Weird. Anyway.
Are there nuclear plants near this place?
No. At least I don't think. Oh, I could just you could just bury me in bourbon and Bulleit and I would be a happy gal.
Well, now that I know that, we're going to have to find some way to get you some good stuff. Not that this isn't good, because this is good, but normally I send my guests some really great stuff, but again, Canada just straight they would put a warrant out. They would put a warrant out for my arrest if I shipped you something. But these are two bourbons that that are available. They're really good, and they're worth every penny.
I love it. I don't know how I got on it, to be honest with you. Like, I'd like to think that I was like super cool and I knew all about all the things. I'm a really big mezcal person.
Oh, nice.
Love mezcal. But my like close second is always going to be this little angel.
Oh, some Bulleit, huh? All right. So Makers didn't cut into that at all?
Drinking Bulleit.
Did Makers cut into the Bulleit love at all?
Yeah, it did actually. I've never had. I don't think I've ever really had Makers unless it was like at someone's house and I didn't really think about it. But drinking it just straight, because I've never had it straight, like I actually really enjoy it. Like I think I would sip this slower than I would Bulleit.
Is that a compliment?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big compliment. You might have just given this guy some competition, honestly.
Uh-oh.
Better watch out.
Coming to you live, ladies and gentlemen, the Parker Graye Taste Off. Bulleit versus Maker's Mark. Who's going to win?
Who will win? Finish him.
All right, as we switch genres here. We're going to go to the rum now. Are you working on any new music? You got any EPs going?
I have. I just had a song come out of mastering. Hey, look it. This one's got a.
You got a cork and I don't.
What's up? Yeah, I just had a song come out of mastering, and it is the last song of the trilogy of my relationship saga, and it's very heartbreaking. It's very raw, and it's very close to my heart. It's a song that I had no intention of releasing because it just really does tell the full story of where I landed when everything went to hell in a handbasket. And I'm so excited to release it. I did a showcase in March of last year before the pandemic really popped off, the pandy handy. And
wait, what? What?
I call it pandy, and everybody thinks it's hilarious.
The pandy handy?
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. It kind of just slipped. Anyways, moving on. It's a really great song. It's really sad. And that's going to be next. And then while that's kind of going out and I'm pushing that around, I'm in the process of planning the EP. So lots of great stuff coming, and it's super exciting. And I love writing songs, and I love writing songs for other people. And I just love what I do. I'm so lucky.
Now, in this world, everyone eventually moves to Nashville. Is there any plans for that?
I would love to.
Yeah.
Somebody get me to Nashville. I need to find like a really hunky cowboy musician who's got his life together, just a little bit, because none of the men here have their lives together apparently, or somebody signs me and it's like, you need to move here, and I'm like, oh shucks, I don't know,
Well, I do know a lot of people listen to the show who are in the music biz. And I don't know how people make those decisions.
Neither do I,
but I will tell you, like, your personality just fits. It checks all the marks, And it's like, I'd almost be like, can you write a song that's funny, because your personality is so funny? Like, I mean,
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I am one of those people that walks around my house and is like, I'm going to make some chicken and potatoes. Like, I always do stupid songs, and I never sing well when I do them. And everyone's like, what if you just you could be the next Lonely Island? Do you remember them?
No.
They were a twosome that they made really jokesy songs. Mm-hmm. And I was like, maybe that's my side hustle once I make it.
And I also know, in the 20s, they would, there were songs talking about baking chicken, and there's
it's right on my lane.
I just there's just there was a time when our music revolved around cooking dinner. So hey, I mean, I'm just saying,
maybe that's the lane.
But I do think that when you're singing about cooking dinner, I think it might be a conflict of interest for the 37 Ab Club in CrossFit. I mean, I think you might need to come on over to my side a little bit, where the lipid people, and you may if you're singing about food a lot, inevitable you're gonna be bringing in pancakes and maple syrup and fried chicken and all kinds of good stuff.
Here's the thing, I have no willpower, and I'm a sucker for food. I don't have an off switch. Last night I went on a date and we had 2 pizzas, and he was like, I've never seen someone eat so much in my life. And I'm like, I don't know if that's compliment or, and there was 3 pieces left. I'm like, are you going to finish it?
It's like, and are you going to drink that too? I mean,
I was like, are you going to leave? Is one of those for me, or are you going to eat both? Because I'd really love at least one of them.
And then did you follow up? And do you plan to be moving to Nashville later?
No, we're not there yet. I don't think. I'm not. No.
So
no. Yeah.
I know a lot of the songwriting groups that they all kind of get together and they all work together, and it's it is fascinating to me, the Nashville songwriting community. They have this 5 people will write a song. I'm like, I write books, and I would never let anybody else get in that space of my head to in the book. And I'm like, how do you all do that? They're just like, well, we're just all friends. And I mean, it's the most collegial community I have ever seen in my life.
See, I couldn't do, well, I mean, I could do it, but I don't even 4 people in a session is a lot for me. Normally my sessions are 3. But generally it's 2 to 3 for me. I don't like writing on my own. So I'm useless. My ADHD kicks in and I'm like, oh, look, that looks like a good snack. And then I go eat food. But I also just truly believe that writing with other people just provides a more universal perspective to whatever you're writing about, because if you're only looking through your lens, I'm sure it's still quite relatable, but if someone else can say something differently or better, like, why not? And I can't imagine not co-writing. Like, I just don't know. Like, there's people who I work with who love writing on their own, and I'm like, I don't know how you do it. Like, it blows my mind.
Well, I am excited to be talking to you just in general about your career, because the enthusiasm that I have for you, I'm like, ooh, maybe she might get discovered by someone, and they're gonna say like, oh, I heard you on Fred's show, and I'm like, that's like,
and I'll be winning a Grammy, and I'll be like, I just want to thank Fred for making this all happen for me.
Now let's go drink some bourbon, everybody. Love it.
You know what? Actually, I'll make you, if it happens and I win a Grammy one day, I owe you a shout out.
Not at all. But
yep, that's where we're going.
This is my privilege to do this. I will say this: my show is very good luck. People have came on my show and gotten in the NFL Hall of Fame. They've won Super Bowls. They've been finalists for Grammys. I mean, those are coming up. You know, so I mean, I've got some.
You got some clout. You got some good juju going on there. I was on Clubhouse the other night and we were sharing wins.
Okay, I still can't get Clubhouse. I'm struggling.
Why? What is your problem?
Well,
what do you need help with?
Well, the whole thing about Clubhouse is like everyone's on there and everybody wants me on there. And
yeah, because you'd be fantastic.
Well, then it's just like, you know, do I sit and talk? Like, I hate sitting and talking. Like, it's just like a conference call. Like, I have to be moving or looking into a camera and talking. Like, it's like, to me, it is. I struggle with it. I struggle because.
Yeah, but I don't know. You'd just be so good. You would be so good on it.
Like, what do I do? Like,
you just do this.
Just blah blah blah.
It just.
I mean, I get people to listen to it on the podcast form because they like download it and they get it at their, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what? Okay, we have a Good Night Nashville group.
Mm-hmm.
You should come hang out. I mean, we were sharing wins and I was like, I'm going to be on Fred's show. And everyone was like clapping, but they just flashed their mics because that's what you do. And everyone was really stoked about you. So I think that there's like, give the people what they want. I think you're just not giving us.
I got on there. I got on the other day and it was like talking, and then I got off of it, and I just did 30 minutes of talking, and you know, now I want some Doritos. You know,
you can do, but you know, here's what's great about that: you can eat Doritos as you do it.
Really? So people will go listen through the crunch?
Yeah, you can. It can be ASMR with Fred Minnick.
All right, we're gonna have to continue this. I have to get you on the rum now because
I'm sorry.
You bourbon is is what you cheat on mezcal with. Rum is my is my second fiance, and I love rum.
See, I've never been a rum person, so the second you made me buy this, I said, I don't know what this guy's thinking, but he's on a mission, so I'm going to trust him.
So, first of all, rum is a category that gets abused. It is no longer being held accountable and being made in the standards that it was intended to be made. It is different in every place in the world. And I chose to go with the Jamaican rum because Jamaican rum is this is the creme de la creme of from the 1600s, 1800s. This was considered the greatest spirit in the world during that time frame. People love Jamaican rum. and basically they have their fermentation is very it's a lot of it's open, a lot of it's using natural yeast. But it's got Jamaica has like a special funk. So if you like Jamaican jerk spice, if you like clove, if you like cardamom, you put all those together and it's like, who's got the funk? Ooh, I got the funk. It's like a real funky kind of like, flavor profile. And to be honest with you, most people are putting this in cocktails. So we're doing this neat, but this adds like a real beautiful flavor in a cocktail, and I am so excited to taste this with you. Now, first of all, rum must be made from sugarcane. Rum is a sugarcane based spirit, and the majority of it is made not sugar but sugar cane. So it's made by usually most of the base is molasses, and molasses is the byproduct of making sugar. So they make sugar, and this kind of black tarry substance is created, and that's molasses. It's still got some sweetness to it. They put that in a fermenter, add some yeast, bubble, 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 and then they distill that. And after the distillation process, a lot of countries like the Dominican Republic and Venezuela will add sugar to kind of sweeten it up. Jamaica outlaws the addition of sugar, and it's basically, in a lot of ways, a lot like bourbon in that they don't add anything. They just basically have water. But their distillation proofs are very different than bourbon. But
fascinating. I didn't know that. Oh, whoa. That is so sweet. It smells kind of like burnt sugar. Oh, whoa. Wow. Once it settles in your mouth, it's crazy how different the profile changes.
Yeah.
It feels way more sweet.
It comes in with that rush of funk, and then the sweet comes in underneath. Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. And
I didn't expect that.
And here's the thing: this is their baseline. Their higher end stuff is really exceptional.
That's unreal. See, I've always been I think being a young teen and probably stealing alcohol from my parents to go have bush parties. I just have horror, awful memories of Bacardi. So I think I just was very afraid of rum. But this is fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, usually people have that story for tequila or gin, sometimes bourbon.
I really love it.
Yeah.
I'm dry on gin, so I try to stay away from that.
You what now on gin?
I cry. Oof.
On gin? Really? Okay.
Yeah, it just makes me really sad.
Wow. That's
why I stick to tequila or mezcal, and then I'm
and bourbon now, but listen, I'm a huge tequila fan. I love all of it, and but mezcal is the smokiness is fantastic. So yeah, there's a lot of great cocktails and everything.
I don't smoke at all, and but I love the taste of smokiness in my mouth. So I think maybe in a past life I was a chain smoker.
Or maybe you were very refined and you like to smoke cigars, or you were a Navy Sea captain, and you had a.
I don't know if you know where I'm from. Refined is a very generous term.
I don't know. I see it here. We're going through the initial stages of a palate exam, and you were bringing it. I mean, you broke down that rum like a champ.
Stop it! You're just fluffing me up.
Okay, so
super cool.
Putting you on the spot here. What's been your favorite so far?
Ooh, out of the three.
Mm-hmm. Do 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 do. Bum, bum, bum.
That's so hard. Oh, I can't believe I'm going to do this.
She's gonna. Uh-oh. What? Oh! Here she was, an anti-rum drinker, and she has chosen Appleton.
I'm actually so shocked because I was very afraid of this. Like, I thought I was going to have to go see my therapist about it, you know? I was going to have to write a song about it.
Okay, how... I got to hear the song now. Like, do you have any, like, initial songwriter thoughts of, like, I was drinking rum.
Me and Fred were drinking rum, and then I thought I was gonna die because he made me drink rum, and then I didn't die.
Boom.
Because it took me back to being a teenager and drinking Bacardi, which I know is different, but it's not because it's rum. There you go.
And the smash hit. The Grammy goes to... That was awesome.
I thought it was not rum. No, you know what's crazy is there's something about, and I'm probably wrong in the tasting notes, so please feel free to be like, no, you're incorrect.
No,
but it tastes kind of like the top of creme brulee. You know how there's like the
yeah.
That's what this kind of, like, as it sat in my mouth a bit, I was like, oh, I want creme brulee now, which, like,
that's
which
awesome.
is obviously my problem with treats.
Listen, sign me up for creme brulee all day long. That is actually a note that, you know, comes up all the time in spirits that are aged in barrels, because that wood, you know, puts forth its wood sugars. That extraction is just gorgeous. So I think that's great. You've got the palate. This isn't going to be the last time. And I think you know, you're gonna, next time you come on, you're gonna be signed. You're probably gonna be in Nashville, and you'll have cajillions and cajillions of followers, and you will be on everyone's playlist. At least from this show, that you'll be on their playlist. And
well, Fred, that's probably one of the kindest things anybody's ever said to me, and I hope that I can come back to Nash once this pandy's over, and we can drink whiskey, and we can hang out and slap high fives and eat creme brulee and other snacks that we don't want to say no to, like Doritos. And, you know, I appreciate you. This has been so fun and
absolutely
so the best time ever. And I'm like I said, I love learning, and it's so cool to get a bit of story behind these things that I drink quite often, and it just makes me appreciate it that much more. And I appreciate you for taking the time to bring little old me on the show and let me be a complete moron and swear and
well, listen, I swear a lot too. I don't think I sweared a lot on this episode, but listen.
Well, I was trying to button it up, but I have a sailor mouth.
I get booked for private events all the time. And I'm known for having a potty mouth by these event bookers. And they'll say, you need to watch your language with this group. I'm like, what? Who's hiring the whiskey guy for political correctness? You know, I mean, look, I'm PC, but I drop more F-bombs and assholes and shits and all that kind of stuff. I
was really trying to button it up for you because I also don't want people thinking I'm a complete savage like I am, but, you know.
Hey, that's the next one. The next episode will be the savagery one. But listen, for now, let's tell everyone where they can find you on the socials. And we need to get you downloaded here in Kentucky, especially, and all over the country. But tell people where they can find you on the socials.
Yeah, I am on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Parker Graye, Graye, because everybody kind of messes that one up. Find me, follow me, DM me. Tell me what your favorite whiskey is, because that's also something I would love to buy more whiskey and have more in my house. Yeah, follow me. Share my music on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon, iTunes, the whole kit and caboodle, all streaming platforms. I appreciate you to the moon and back. This has been absolutely wonderful and such an honor to be on your show among so many other bananas talented human beings. So thank you so much.
Well, pleasure was mine, and the star is rising. Parker Graye, everybody, thank you so much for coming on. Be safe out there, and go ice hut fishing with your dad, and bring some of that Appleton, and go catch some of those cool fish.
I will try.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Oh, also vodka sucks.